Right, and we are live on all the platforms. Look like everybody is playing well with us, and LinkedIn is playing nice with us, so is YouTube. And thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fantastic TV star on Dealcasters Live, and looks like Amazon is on, so let's go. Let's go get them. Earth, welcome to Dealcasters Live. My name is Chris Stone. I'm at Castahead at castahead.net. And the gorgeous gentleman on the right side of your screen, doing marketing the Marine Corps way, Mr. Jim Fuse of Fusion Marketing. How are we, sir?
I'm doing great, Chris. And, as I posted over on Amazon, this is election day distraction time. We're going to have some fun and just, have a great guest lined up, bringing me back to my way past, because, we're talking about General Hospital, right? And
yes.
So, I mean, I remember I actually watched the Luke and Laura wedding. I mean, back then, if you were around, that was like you had to, even as a guy. It's like, because otherwise the girls would be like, "Oh, you're a Neanderthal. You don't want to talk about Luke and Laura." So that was my first exposure to, as we talked about, I think earlier, Chris, daytime television. Right? We can't call it that other thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the temptation is to call them soap operas right now, but it's daytime television. And yes, Jim, you're right. We are just stoked to have our guest today. Jim, we've had some wide varying guests from different stratospheres of marketing, entrepreneurship, and all kinds of stuff. And I've always thought, not enough people in this space reach outside of their space to learn from people in other parts of the world, and not just parts of the world geographically, but different businesses. And we've had, we've had people from the Weather Channel, we've had gamers, we've had all these kinds of people. We don't have to just talk to podcasters and live streaming and just talk about microphones and, live selling and things like that. But there's this Venn diagram, right, of us as business owners and entrepreneurs and live streamers and all those kinds of things. And right in the center are people that want to really kind of have a voice and to impact people's lives and have to get in front of a camera and in front of a microphone and have to go through things like, fear of camera and how can I do this? How can I do that? How can I do that? And I love when we get the opportunity to have people from, not the podcasting industry necessarily, on our show to help our audience learn from other industries. And that's what we have today, Jim, and I'm excited for it. So if you are on any of the tubes, I don't care if it's a YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever, I mean, Twitch, we're name a place, the show's going to be in it. The party is over on Amazon, and yes, Amazon is a live streaming platform, and we go live there to do shows like this because we've got some great products from our guest that's joining us today, as well as some other products that you see all over our studio. And if you've got any questions on any of that throughout the show, you can ask those wherever you're at. But if you want to pick up those things, it's always great to be on Amazon to be able to do that. And we make it easy for you. All you got to do is go to dealcasters.live. And when you go to dealcasters.live, it takes you straight to this show where you're going to be able to hang out with that gorgeous gentleman, Jim Fuse, but also our guest today. So if you haven't made your way over to Amazon at dealcasters.live, please do so. The show is there as well, and we've got the chat coming in and folks coming in. And Jim, I don't know if you've got anything else to cover off, but I think we're ready to introduce our guest. What do you say?
Yes. No, let's roll.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, get ready to meet the TV star, author, QVC guest host, and beauty expert who's turned live selling into an art form. She's here to share her secrets to captivating audiences, building a brand, and driving real sales on and off screen. Would you please welcome to Dealcasters, Andy Paige. Andy, hi.
Hi, what an an amazing introduction. Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here with you.
Now, you said you've been on podcasts all day.
All day.
Which number podcast are we today?
Do you want me to be honest?
Please.
Sure. You are number 6.
Number 6. Wow. You're a soldier. That's amazing. I don't think I could do 3 in a day. It's a lot.
Well, it has been such an amazing experience. So, you mentioned that, I'm on General Hospital, and I'm the latest cast member of General Hospital and a part of a really amazing experiment. It's an advertising, marketing, and consumer experiment. And so, one of the ways that we are trying to engage with people is to do these podcast tours, because this is a way to let people know, first of all, General Hospital is still on the air. It is the longest running show in television history. It has been on for 61 years, which is amazing. Incredible. And you should also know it is not offensive to call it a soap opera.
Okay, thank you. I didn't, you don't know what you can say nowadays, Andy. You don't.
It's true. It is a soap opera, and I'm happy to be a part of it. But doing these podcast tours, if you will, is a new experiment. It's wonderful. It's not like, you used to do television, tours and things like that, where you would go from market to market. But now this is a very different approach to hitting a new audience. So I am thrilled to be with you guys. And I thank you so much for saying yes to a little soap opera star like me.
A little soap opera star. You are being far too humble. And this, for those of you who are not General Hospital fans, 61 years, that's incredible. And, it's just one of those things that's impacted so many different generations, right? And so, so 61 years, there's got to be fans that are, across the gamut in terms of age. I remember my grandmother watching it.
Okay, so Chris, you have to know, I used to watch it with my great-grandmother, first of all, in the 70s. Amazing. And I just came from the big U.S. event that brings all of the General Hospital fans into one location. This year it was in Memphis. And there were mothers, grandmothers, daughters, all there who've been watching it. It was amazing to see these fans that have been invested in this show for decades. I think the fan that I met with the least amount of experience of the show had been watching for 20 years. So wow. It's truly just a legacy show. I mean, Elizabeth Taylor was on General Hospital, and you should also know that. So that's actually me pretending to be Haven de Havilland, who is my co-star on the show, and Haven is played by Morgan Fairchild.
Oh my gosh!
Incredible. And this was taken in Memphis. So was this at the event that you were talking about?
Yes, amazing. And I'm dressed up there as Morgan Fairchild. So part of this big fan event is you get to dress up as your favorite, General Hospital character. And of course, mine is Haven de Havilland, who is played by Morgan Fairchild.
Wow. Awesome. So, you've not just General Hospital. I mean, you have tons of things going on. When it comes to not just being in the longest running TV show, in history, but also, a QVC host. You're carbon farmer. There's all kinds of different stuff that you've got going on, right? In author, and we're going to talk about you creating products and patents and all of these things, these products that are available on Amazon. And for those of you who are on Amazon, there's a book in the carousel. There's all kinds of products that Andy is going to talk about. Can you share maybe some lessons throughout this thing that would help someone who is maybe an entrepreneur that's maybe hesitant to do something from a video perspective? Or somebody that has an idea for products or wants to write a book. What are some lessons maybe that you've learned that you can help with our audience?
Yeah, so I'm without a doubt, I will tell you that every experience, no matter what it is an opportunity to be impactful, to be of service, and to plant some seeds. So, I have to tell you that I am 54 years old, and this is the very first acting job I've ever had. Now, I have been in television for decades, but I have never been an actress. I have always done, things based off reality television and really based off the character of me, Andy Paige. So I came to this position because there are two producers on the show who worked with me over 22 years ago and who remembered me as being someone who was on time, who was always looking to make things better and not harder, who was willing to offer solutions and, not make things a little more complicated. I was always trying to, pitch in, help out. And because these two producers remembered me in that way and saw on LinkedIn that I was now a co-host on, or a guest host on QVC, they reached out and said, I know this is nuts. We have this role. It's actually for a home shopping host. Do you feel like you can act? And do you feel like you can do this? And I was like, yeah. And 3 days later, I had the job. So the lesson is that you don't eat the fruit the same day you plant the seed. So you always want to show up as your best self. You want to leave a lasting impression. You don't want to burn any bridges because you never know how things are going to turn around. And I am just really lucky that, my superpower is kindness. And they remembered me as being someone who is kind and helpful. And boom, I'm like Pearl on General Hospital.
Wow. We just met just a few minutes ago. And I immediately could feel the kindness that you're talking about, and I love the fact that the lesson that you learned was you helped other people. You helped things be better, not harder, is what you said, right? And you looked to provide solutions. And I always think like everyone, when they get into this, right, and they get into it, they think, I have to make more money, I have to do this for myself. And I feel like if you're more selfless and you go into it more with a servant's heart, like you're talking about, this stuff will come, right? And the fruit, you don't eat the fruit the first day you plant the seed. Did I get that right? Okay,
yeah,
that's t-shirt. That's t-shirt material right there. I think we're gonna, unless you've trademarked it already.
No. My grandmother used to say it. So it's not mine at all.
Wow,
that's awesome.
So Andy, what's interesting? So you basically, QVC in a sense trained you in some aspects for this role on General Hospital, and I guess, if I understand this right, and now, I'm going to have to go watch General Hospital just to see this, you're actually selling things to the viewing audience through General Hospital. Is that correct?
It's true. So this is a huge experiment. And I have to say that if it works, it's going to change the way that we all watch television. Because when this was pitched to me, the premise was, what if we could have purchased Fonzie's jacket? Or what if, you could have, purchased the hair care products that, Monica and Rachel and Phoebe used on Friends. So what has happened is, the reason why I'm okay with calling it a soap opera is because originally soap companies paid for it. And we think that television is free, but it's not. But however, we are all experiencing television in very different ways. And so what's happened is, as we are now streaming more of our entertainment, we are doing everything we can to avoid ads, and ads ultimately pay for everything. So when it comes to a legacy show like General Hospital, they are trying to be a little more creative to maintain their 2 to 3 million viewers a day, which is amazing, which they still have, and recognizing that more and more people are actually streaming it and not watching it on network. So there has been a 20-year storyline within the General Hospital legacy. It's about deception beauty, and deception beauty and cosmetics is this amazing place where, these gorgeous women, develop products, and there's backstabbing, and like the storyline is exactly what you can imagine, right? It's amazing. But the viewers and fans have enjoyed watching the development of these products and really learned. They've learned how to patent a product. They've learned the development process and packaging and like all of these things. So the producers thought, well, what if we made deception real? What if we brought these products to life? How would we market this? And so a few years ago, they created the storyline of Home and Heart, which is the fictional shopping network that I am the co-host with Morgan Fairchild. And as products are developed and approved and licensed, through Deception Beauty and other things. They are brought to Home and Heart. And, Haven and Pearl actually pitch the products within the show. And then you can go to shophomeandheart.com and you can buy the products that you've actually seen develop on the show. And the reason why I feel like this is an experiment is because the next level of this is that you're literally going to be able to shop the entire show that you're watching, which means that, the products that are on the wall and the earrings that you see on any of the characters and the clothes that they wear and all of that, I believe, will now be a part of almost any show that you watch. I believe that any show that you watch, if this works, is going to have some sort of website connected so that you can buy everything from, like I said, the things that are on the wall to the things that the people wear, to the products that they use, the cosmetics and everything.
That is brilliant. That is like product placement on steroids. It's like it's actually, complete integration to the storyline of the show. It's absolutely brilliant marketing, and it's got to be exciting for you to be a part of that, right? I mean, it feels like the first of its kind, or one of the first, at least that I've heard of.
Yeah, it's definitely first of its kind. It is, an opportunity for fans to both support the show and be a part of the show, to carry a handbag that their favorite character is using, and to also purchase these products that they've actually watched in development, even though it was a part of the storyline for years. So I see that this is a way to sustain a show, again, because if we don't want to watch ads, then one of the ways that you can support and be a part of your show is to, ultimately be a consumer. And so I do think that this is going to help legacy shows, stay alive. But I also think that as new shows are developed, I think that this will be, at the very genesis of the show, and that they will give a lot of thought to every single thing that is a part of that show, so that there will be a consumer element to almost anything that we watch.
Yeah, because I think you hit on a great point, and I know I witness it on a daily basis. Chris may as well, but like my wife is like, she can't stand ads anymore. Like even like sometimes I think like Amazon's even added ads in sometimes, even though we're Prime, and she'll be like, "Oh my gosh, an ad!" And it's like, it's like it will live. It's but if you can integrate it and make the if you want to call it the advertiser happy, why not? Because now we don't have that stop even in the action, because you make it a part of the show, which I think is brilliant. And so, Chris and I have been doing this Amazon stuff for a few years. So how do you see, as an example right now, us being live on Amazon, how do you see what you've done? How can you help, other live sellers, we'll call it, think about how do you incorporate this into your show, as opposed to coming across, I guess, as maybe a true, just like I'm just pitching stuff?
Yeah, so it is using it, while you're speaking. It's making it a part of the background. It's incorporating it in natural ways, so that it comes off as organic and it doesn't seem so pitchy. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned on QVC is you have to look at that camera as your best friend, and tell me the conversation that you would have with your best friend. How would you like to share that with your best friend, maybe in the backyard or over the fence, with your neighbor? So, anything organic and natural, and approaching it that, it's not sales as much as sharing. That's actually the approach that all of the networks are using. And it's certainly how I was trained on QVC. So, starting out with this, it's definitely a sharing mentality and not a sales mentality.
I love that. I think that's so important because it's about trust, right? And if you're showing up and you don't and you're talking about a product that you don't really believe in, it's gonna come across, right? It's you're not gonna, especially in a live situation like this, right? If I start talking about a particular thing that goes on my microphone, and I really don't like the color blue, you're going to probably be able to tell, even though, I love the color blue, but you're probably going to be able to tell that, that you just you're not into it, right? So if you're on camera, right, how do you get up for being on camera? Like, is there, like, I love the mentality of talking to your best friend, right? I think that's I'm going to use that one. I'm putting that in my back pocket because I'm going to start using that for what I'm doing. But when you go and you're going on television, you got Morgan Fairchild in the house, you've got cameras, you got lights, you got all glammed up, like the pressure's on. Like, how do you get up for that? Are there any sort of like tricks that you've used over the years to get to where you've gotten at this point?
Absolutely. The more prepared that you are, the more at ease you become. So for me, you should also know that there is nothing that I ever sell that I don't love. And I actually, whether it's on QVC or otherwise, I have full authority to be like, no, this is not for me, or I think that maybe someone else would be a better ambassador for this. I'm not crazy for it. So I am given that authority to, really take on everything with gusto and to have a passion for it. So both having a passion for it, I think, is really important. And then knowing every possible thing about it and educating yourself so that you can speak on it with, experience and expertise, I think is also, a great way to put you at ease. But I will tell you that when it comes to being on General Hospital, I can't riff. I can't, make it up because there are Emmy-winning writers who want you to say every word correctly. I mean, I was just there on Wednesday and I had to do like an extra take because I kept forgetting the word new. And I was supposed to say the new deception color and not just deception color. And I flubbed it twice, which is a big no-no. So that is very different on that set because I'm having to harken back to that one acting class that I had in college. You've got to deliver those lines in a very different way. So when I'm on set with Miss Fairchild, it is, acting in a way because I've got to say the words that those Emmy-winning writers have created for me to say. But when I'm on QVC or I'm doing something like this, I'm very much going off my own expertise and, what I have found that I love and how I feel like this product is going to make your life better and solve something in some way, which is really what business is about. Every business is about some sort of solution.
Well, and Andy, I think it's so important what you said, because Chris and I have talked about this before. Like when we work with brands, we work with things that we like, right? We're not going to just take anything. And I think so many people that are maybe getting into the live selling space, or if you want to even talk about other people that are influencers, it's like, don't peddle stuff because you think you're going to make a buck, because it's that trust thing. Like you said, you're building trust. But I also love how you talk about by, sharing as opposed to not selling. It makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. Like, hey, I just got to talk to my friend about how they would understand it and not get too technical, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's exactly right. And that will come across, I can assure you. It is extremely important to just recognize the people that you're talking to. They want to hear what you have to say. Like it's not that they want to be sold, but they are obviously tuning in. They are watching because they're eager for knowledge. And so it is your job to describe that in a way that is meaningful to them. And I know that when I'm on QVC or I'm on General Hospital, I recognize the audience, right? So I am coming at it from the point of view of knowing that, this is probably someone that's over 40. They're probably a female. They probably have kids. So also understanding my demographic helps me really manage the information that I want to say in the order that I want to say it, because that helps me shape all of the information that I'm giving. So demographic is also an important part of that.
100%. Like anytime, it doesn't matter what business you're in, right? You need to have that avatar, people call it, like your ideal client, your ideal customer. What problems do they have, right? And you know exactly who you're talking to, right? You know exactly. And so if you know who you're talking to, you know what problems they have. And if you have the medicine for their solution, whether it's looking 10 years younger or whether it's, whatever it is, you can say, hey, I really believe in this. This actually works. This will help you. And then you could feel good about it. You don't feel like some slimy salesperson, right?
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I kind of never feel like a slimy salesperson.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think that that's a road to nowhere. So you definitely want to feel good about what you're doing for sure. I mean, when it comes to the GirlyGoGarter, which is a product that I actually developed out of a need for television. So the GirlyGoGarter was actually developed on set. So I come from a reality television background where, I would wear a microphone, put on my bra for 16 to 18 hours a day. And I kept asking for something that would work on my leg for my transmitter, because that transmitter was so hot, I was starting to get water blisters on my back. And everything that they gave me to work on my leg didn't work. And so I set out to create something that would hold my transmitter, and that I could move easily. I didn't have to lift up my skirt to put it on, my bra. And what happened is through the process of trying to create something for television, I'm fortunate enough to have really great attorneys who are like, have you ever thought about the medical implications, or what other, demographic could use this? So now we are a number one product for people who are insulin dependent, who, need a place to wear their insulin pump. We are used for concealed carry, of course. We're also used for girls heading to prom, brides heading down the aisle. If you're headed to a concert, anytime you don't want to lug a purse and you have on a dress, the GirlyGoGarter offers an opportunity for you to have pockets that wrap around your leg, and for you to carry something with ease and convenience. So I believe in my product because I worked on it for so long, but I also understand how hard it is to bring a product to market. I mean, that is, you start with that idea, and then what do you do with it? So I understand the process completely as well.
See, now you've got my wheels turning. So I could tell you believe in this. Like this is why I love live video, Andy, is that when you started talking about that product, you already were ready for, but you turned it up a few notches. I could tell that passion, it came through, and it was awesome. So talk to us about that process in you had the idea, right? You were like, this is happening. What were the steps that you had to take, and maybe how did you power through some of the difficulties in creating the product?
Okay, well, I'm going to give you a warning. We're about to go deep. So
let's go deep.
So I was 5 days away from leaving to go start filming the next season of a television show that I was working on. And my then boyfriend and I went to a beach club, and I engaged in jumping off a cliff, and I missed the water, and I cut off my right foot.
What?
Yeah. So I grabbed it, and I was pretty mad at the universe. I was mad at God because I have always been a good girl. I've walked in faith. I am a God girl. And I couldn't believe that I had done this. And so I literally had a fight with God in the hospital. I was on morphine or whatever, but everyone said I was screaming. I was screaming so much that they called the police. Okay. I was screaming at God, and I got really quiet and exhausted. And I felt like God basically telling me that he had given me this great idea, and I had this idea. I knew that this product was something I needed to do, and I hadn't really done anything with it because I was busy. But in my hospital bed, I knew that I didn't know if I was ever going to walk again. I didn't know if I was ever going to do television again. And I immediately recognized that I needed to pivot, and that this is the next phase of my life. So from my hospital bed, I started rejecting all meds because I wanted a clear mind. And I feverishly, while there's this mechanism literally holding my foot onto my body, I started feverishly researching how I could bring the GirlyGoGarter to life. The first thing that I did was I realized I needed to apply for a provisional patent. So from the hospital bed, I applied for a provisional patent, which was $120, and that gave me a placeholder. So I knew I had a year to bring this to life and bring it to market. And I started researching, grippers and silicone and all kinds of ways that I could get this to adhere. Sewers. I literally was just feverishly trying to figure out how I could bring this to market. And I ended up literally going to Asia on crutches, and spending 2 weeks there and working every lead I possibly had. I raised some money by, writing my own business plan. And within 2 years of my accident, I had it patented and I brought it to life. And before COVID, we were in about a little over 6,000 stores worldwide. After COVID, it's definitely been a difficult ride. But the product that I created, I know, has helped, women walk down the aisle with more ease, has helped protect those people, has helped, women on set, both in movies. We do huge studio services. But I was determined that I felt that this idea was given to me and I was going to give it life. It was not easy. It's still hard. But I was determined to give it life, and I am so rewarded by the ways that I have been able to have this product be of service of people.
Wow.
Thank you for going deep. Thank you for going deep. I will say we do a fair bit of research for our guests here, Andy, and you probably have seen that from us, talking about things, but that we did not know. That's an incredible story for someone who lost their foot in an accident. And obviously you went through a period of time where, angry at God. And, so it wasn't just like, forget it, I'm going to snap into it and do it. It took some transition time, but in the midst of being in that hospital bed and actually going, I'm going to do, when you were there, were you thinking I might never act again. I might never do some of these things that I'm not going to do. So this is what I'm going to jump off onto. Was that the plan?
Yes, I was being told that they didn't think that I would, walk properly, and I didn't. I walked with a limp for a long time. I now have had another round of surgeries, and I walk. People have no idea, what I went through 15 years ago. But yes, I didn't know what my life was going to look like. And I thought, okay, I can do this from a seated position. I can do this from my bed, I thought. And so I thought, if I can develop a product and be surrounded with a fabulous team, then I do think that I can do this, seated. And so that was my goal. And I felt like this was given to me. I took ownership of it. I felt like it was blessed, and I wanted nothing more than to, like I said, bring it to life.
Jim, they have hot pink, just so you know. So it goes with your background.
It's not so much that, but so a true story, as Chris knows, my wife and I are Braves fans, and we go to a lot of Braves games and other sporting events. And this is always an issue. It's that whole thing of you got to have the purse. It's got to be clear. It can only be so big. So you may have just solved a problem for my wife, and we may end up buying, or she'll get let me make sure I got it straight. She may get a GirlyGoGarter as a gift. And so that's a great idea. Now, are you doing anything for men? Because I could see where that could be an opportunity as well.
Yeah. So men have lots of pockets. I definitely see your point. But this is all about easy, access. So This is a hands-free purse that you wear, particularly when you're wearing skirts usually. And so men have the benefit of lots of pockets, which is, terrific. So I have talked about, developing one for men, but you have to think, okay, how would you access it? And is it, is the demand high enough? Mm-hmm. So women have a tendency not to wear things with big pockets, because if we load our pockets, it tends to make us look a little larger. It will ruin the lines of our outfit, Yep. So we have a tendency not to want to pack our pockets. And that's not everyone, but it is a tendency. So this is a solution that, maintains the line of your garment. It offers some concealment. It's definitely secure. The gripper works with the heat of your body. So it will hold up to 3 pounds. And it's not that I want to leave the men out. I'm just saying that, when it comes to wardrobe, you have the benefit of a few more stuff holders than we do.
That's true. That's fair point. But I definitely could see the advantage for, well, not even just, women going out and about, but I could even see in some cases where, moms with their kids, it might make their life a little easier too, to have that.
Definitely. And to be fair, my dad, before he passed, would always send me photos. He would carry, he would wear a GirlyGoGarter, especially when he was traveling, and he would keep extra money in his passport in his GirlyGoGarter. So
there you go.
And I also have great media shots of a lot of bagpipers wearing them under kilts too. But they were wearing, you know, our traditional, you know, either nude or black or something like that, or red, depending. But so there have been scenarios where men have enjoyed wearing the GirlyGoGarter for one reason or the other.
Jim wants one in Alabama crimson or Washington Commander burgundy and gold. So, you know, maybe do a deal with NFL or NCAA, and then you've got Jim will be a customer for life. I mean, what better, you know?
You are up my alley. You know, as an Alabama girl, I can say roll tide. And I made an Alabama red. It's not quite crimson. You know, when you're trying to develop and, you know, create something that will satisfy the needs of a large market, you lay out the Alabama crimson, you lay out, you know, so many reds, the Ohio red, like everything that you could possibly imagine, and you find a color that you think can satisfy so many markets. I definitely did that with orange too. You know, when I was creating the orange one, I was like, okay, is this like an Auburn orange? Is this a Clemson orange? Is this a Tennessee orange? Right? Like I tried to find the orange that would work with so many markets. So it's not a perfect Alabama red, but it is definitely a red. And it works great on every leg that heads to Alabama.
There you
That's
go.
amazing. That's amazing. So we also see that you have a book. See, I told you, ladies and gentlemen, this is not just a one-trick pony that we have here on the show. This is a multifaceted entrepreneur, influencer, advocate, whatever you want to call this. And so you're also an author, Andy. And so Style on a Shoestring is the book. And if you're over on Amazon, it's in the carousel. Check it out. And it's, you know, talk to us about this book. I know it was a few years ago that it came out. Can you give us a summary on the book and why people might want to check this out?
Of course, it was an absolute labor of love. You know, so I am a little unique in that I was raised by my grandparents for the most part, and my grandmother had a real skill of, you know, I could pull something out of a Vogue magazine and say, Mama, I would like to, you know, have this dress, and she could make it happen for me. And she really instilled in me that, you know, how you present yourself ultimately dictates how people are going to treat you. So no matter your means, how you show up is really what matters. So I am a high school dropout. I dropped out of high school in Alabama and went to New York at 17 and, you know, started my career in modeling. I'm fortunate I got my GED. I now have a double master's in media studies and broadcast journalism, but I am a high school dropout. And I entered the world of modeling with the knowledge that I really needed to show up in this big, glamorous world in a way that didn't reflect, you know, kind of my barefoot background. So I honed the skills that my grandmother taught me, and I learned to, you know, mix high and low and thrift things and hold on to things and recognize the value and the perceived value of some things. And so when I became a beauty and style expert in television, I really started to kind of teach those skills. And Style on a Shoestring is my experience of 20 years in the television industry, doing hundreds of makeovers on television, whether it was Starting Over or How Do I Look or 10 Years Younger or my show Sense of Style. So it's the combination of all of those skills, how to start from the beginning, clean out your closet, start with foundation garments, and build a wardrobe that is going to fortify you, that makes you feel encouraged, makes you feel beautiful and confident, that can help you ultimately actualize your dreams by really being proud and feeling strong about your image, which is no small thing. Your wardrobe should really be, you know, fortifying you. And if you are opening your closet every day and looking at all your failures, those clothes that you can't fit into anymore, money that you've wasted, and the person that you used to be, then that is an emotional hurdle you have got to eliminate so that you can start every day feeling your best and with the confidence to help you really start to achieve your goals and live a bigger life.
I love that. I love, you know, and the whole time you're talking, obviously you're talking about fashion, which I'm like, I'm black t-shirt all the way, right? But the whole time you're talking, I can't help but look at the analogy of, Andy, we work every day with people who think they have to buy a really expensive microphone or a really expensive gear to do a show. And the fact of the matter is they just need to work on what they're going to say and how they're going to say it and who they're going to serve, right? And these things that you're talking about when you open up your closet, right, and you look at certain things and you think, I don't fit into this anymore. This doesn't make me feel this way. This doesn't make me feel. People do the same thing when they go and they want to turn on the camera, and all this mind junk and this stuff gets in the way of them doing their best, right? And so I can't help but feel that that's somewhat of an analogy, and I think we get in our own way sometime, feeling our best, and if we don't feel our best, we don't do our best, right? I mean, doesn't that analogy work, or am I off base?
No, I don't think you're off base at all. It's really about, I mean, don't get me wrong, great tools can make a difference. I mean, sure. I firmly believe that. And good foundation garments, and there's lots of things that is applicable to this analogy, but it is really true. If you've got the core, then that's what's most important. You do not have to spend a fortune on anything if you've got the right message. So I do believe that, sometimes perceived value when it comes to, your wardrobe, perceived value is just as important as, spending a lot of money. And you can have perceived value through color and fit, and color costs nothing. A richer color can make something look richer. The way something fits can make it look like it's bespoke when, it was just something that you spent $20 on tailoring. So the details do not have to be expensive. It's obviously and honestly the perception.
Wow. Yeah, that's, those are, so are we going to do a fashion makeover right now, Andy? Let's look here at Jim. I mean, come on. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding. You didn't think we were going to do that. No, so let me ask you this, because let's shift a little bit back into your what you're doing now for General Hospital, right? Because I know this is a big focus of what you're doing. We definitely, we could talk about, podcasting and entrepreneurship all day long, but we want to be respectful to the folks at General Hospital, and this is a big deal and a really innovative idea. So for those of you who are joining now, and I see Richard's in the chat, there's a bunch of people here, you want to go back and replay this, because this is a really innovative idea that's happening right now on General Hospital and launching something that's integrated within the show, and it's very cool. And so what I guess what I wanted to maybe find out from you is, like, is there anything that happened for you on television that didn't go as planned? You mentioned something about a line. But was there any kind of like funny thing that happened on? I'm always curious about what goes on TV sets that we don't get to see, and how that might apply to someone in business, and just kind of like, you never see the final cut, but you've got to have some stories that happened on the set.
Of course, absolutely. Let me just tell you that soap operas are baptism by fire, because they create 250 hours of television a year. They film in 2 blocks from 5 a.m. to noon, and then from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m., 4 days a week. My very first day on set, I was in scene 47 and 49 of 56 for the day.
Wow.
And for people who do not understand television, that is absurd. That is banana cakes. I mean, it is so crazy to think about. So it is what they actually accomplished, and how many people are working behind the scenes is unbelievable. The amount of, words and pages that they go through. But as a result, I talked about having to be, to do the dreaded 3 takes. That's a big deal, because what they give you, honestly, what they try and do is you get 1 recorded practice and 1 take, and you want to nail it both of those times. And if you don't, it is not good to have to go to that 3rd take. So as a result, what you don't see behind the scenes are there's literally scripts everywhere. There are scripts under pillows, and there are scripts words taped on the floor, and there are words everywhere that's even just a little off camera. There are cues to help you remember those lines. They are literally everywhere because there's so much dialogue that has to be, gotten through every day. It's kind of crazy. So that was very interesting to me. And also the way that the set is done, it is seamless for everyone to basically move the cameras to the next scene in seconds. They can go from scene to scene to scene. So, you might be filming something, but the next scene in just the set, like a couple of feet away, is already being set up, and everybody is there and everybody is practicing, ready to go to that next set. So it is non-stop. I mean, nonstop. So that's been a huge lesson, and things that I don't think people realize how many, really artistic minds go into creating a show that obviously is an hour a day on network television. It's a huge undertaking. So that was a really big insight for me to think that there are 60 scenes a day that's shot. That's crazy.
Wow. Well, and it's got to, Jim, this has got to get your marine mind going, right? This is about process. And like how can you develop a process where you're filming one scene and but setting up the next scene and rehearsing the next scene, and then the scene like the overlap and what goes into the planning, and then by the way, the next day it's happening all over again, right? The amount that goes into that, and we worry about LinkedIn going down for one stream, that's nothing compared to what you're talking about. So people that are live streaming and they're putting Post-it notes up here, they're looking over here and we're worried about their eye contact and things like that. It's a lot of times just don't worry about it, right? Sometimes you just have to let yourself go and not let the pressure get to you, right? Because that's gonna make things worse if you let the pressure get to you on a set like that, right?
Well, it's very true. Again, I had the dreaded third take, which is, a huge moment for me to apologize to everybody, because sometimes you do. So there's a big difference in knowing your lines and being able to communicate effectively with everybody on camera. I mean, did I know my lines? Absolutely. But, in knowing my lines, I've also got to understand the right camera to hit and really be able to communicate effectively and realistically to Haven. And, so there is a difference. That's the other reason why I said one of the most important things is just being prepared. So you're right. You want to be as prepared as possible, and then give yourself a little grace and a little license, no matter what you're doing, to make a mistake and to come back from it and know that, it's kind of it will eventually be okay. But there have been lots of lessons throughout this entire process of being on General Hospital.
Amazing. Wow. And so we want to make sure that we highlight the site here, and it is shophomeandheart.com. Deception is the brand, and the products are here. And if you missed it earlier, like I said, go back and replay this, because this is an incredibly interesting concept that it's fully integrated into the show. And so when you see these products, it's like product placement on steroids, where it's fully integrated into the show. And shophomeandheart.com is the spot for you to check out these products. Jim, I think it's time to go Christmas shopping. What do you say?
I think so. I definitely got some gift ideas from this, and I guess, Andy, where is because people don't maybe watch regular TV anymore. Where's the best place to watch General Hospital these days?
Well, it is still on network television, so you can find it on ABC in your market. But Hulu also hosts the streaming. So you can find it on Hulu as well. And you can stream or binge. I think it's 16 days. So you can catch up 16 days worth.
Oh, they limit to 16 days.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
But I mean, that's 16 hours of television. So that's
it's
a lot.
Not enough, Andy. I need more General Hospital than 16. If I'm going to catch up, I need more. No.
Yeah, it needs a couple of years.
I was going to say, if you haven't watched since Luke and Laura, you definitely need more than 16 hours.
You're right. This has been absolutely awesome. And Andy, is there anything else that we're forgetting? I want to make sure everybody knows that it's shophomeandheart.com. But there's a ton. You're connected on Instagram. We've pulled up the Instagram, the Facebook, LinkedIn, where you can connect with Andy. We've got a fantastic Pinterest page. Of course, you have a Pinterest page, and of course, all the stuff on Amazon, including the book Style on a Shoestring, and of course, the GirlyGoGarter products, which are amazing. Jim's already got them in his shopping cart here on Amazon. Is there anything else that we didn't mention that we need to cover off today?
Well, you're very sweet to ask. No, shophomeandheart.com, andypaige.com, girlygogarter.com is, of course, how you could meet me. But I do want your listeners to know that I'm actively working on a new podcast called The Dating Lab with the Hillbilly Yenta, which is me. And my husband calls me.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say the Hillbilly Yenta? Is that what it is?
Yenta.
Hillbilly Yenta? Okay. Oh. Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was okay. Your antenna's up.
Intrigued for sure.
So my husband calls me the Hillbilly Yenta because I am from Alabama and I am crazy curious about modern dating and love. Because I just think that modern dating has gone poo-poo banana cakes, and we have got to figure out what's going on. So I've been doing this deep dive and following my curiosities. I have definitely filmed and recorded a couple of podcasts, but I'm not quite ready. I don't feel like I've got my top 3 to launch yet, but it's coming. And so I will just encourage people to be on the lookout for that too, because I think that modern dating is definitely something that a lot of people are struggling with. And I truly believe that, love is meant for all of us, that every mop has got a handle. And I'm going to figure out what solutions I can offer to help people kind of actualize their life through the love spectrum.
Every mop has a handle. This is like, I've gotten so many isms out of the cuckoo banana cakes. Every mop has a handle. What's the name of the podcast again, Andy?
It's called The Dating Lab with the Hillbilly Yenta.
The Dating Lab with the Hillbilly Yenta. I mean, like, I got to go back. I got to bookmark all of these isms because I'm going to start using this stuff. Of course, I will copyright, Andy Paige on all this other stuff. I can't claim this stuff. Cuckoo banana. Is it cuckoo banana cakes?
I do. I say cuckoo banana cakes, and I also say poo-poo banana cakes. It really depends.
So if something's crazy, it's cuckoo banana cakes. If something's not good but crazy, it's poo-poo banana cakes. Got
exactly.
it. Cuckoo and poo-poo. Let's keep those straight. Awesome. You are cuckoo banana cakes, and thank you, Hillbilly Yenta, Andy Paige. This has been amazing, and those of you who are just now joining us, make sure you go back and listen to this. It is shophomeandheart.com. Connect with Andy on all of the places. Make sure you're following what she's doing, not just as Pearl on General Hospital, but as her, the Hillbilly Yenta, in all things dating, and her new podcast as well. Andy, thank you so much for being on the show.
It's been so fun. You guys are awesome. I'm so very grateful for your time and everything that you've done to make my day great. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you
as well.
All right, everyone. As always, don't fear the gear.